The finals currently has a situation with Xbox. We're going to go over all the details there, what could be happening with the current update, as well as when Xbox players can expect the 3.4 update. Additionally, we're going to cover some stuff about the patch and some issues there with that, as well as a whole bunch more. What's up, world? It's Utopia back in with another video. Today we're checking out all things the final. So obviously we've had a situation with Xbox not receiving the current update. Obviously the other platforms, Sony and Steam, have received the update already. This was after 2 delays. We've had a bit of a situation there with the finals. There's been some stuff there overall with the update already. So the fact that Xbox hasn't received the 3.4 point update seems a little bit rough. Of course, it was the weekend and we are now on to Monday. So you would expect, why aren't we receiving the update as of current? Gonna go over some details there with that, as well as what to expect. So some further details on this and what can kind of deep dive into stuff is the Xbox certification system. So if we look here, there was an article by Forbes, and this kind of directly correlates to the finals, at least a little bit. Now, obviously, a lot of people have heard of the game X Defiant. Why am I bringing that up? It's because X Defiant actually failed the Xbox and PlayStation certification. This happened again a few months ago, back in September, and also failed it several other times after that. That's why that game kept getting delayed and delayed and delayed, because it kept failing that certification. Again, obviously with this Forbes article here pointing that out, it was delayed all the way back then and again further after that point. So what is the certification system and why do these platforms have that, and what platforms have that overall? So currently Sony and Xbox both have a certification system. I do believe Nintendo also has a certification system, and Apple might have a mini one themselves, although most apps do make it through. Steam, for the most part, doesn't have a certification system as long as you aren't breaking any TOS. You're more than likely able to just publish the game itself or publish updates, even that break games. That's why you see games that are PC-centric always get the updates first over the console platforms, because the console platforms have to go through certification, although sometimes that can be vice versa, where the company is making a PC port and they're relying on a third-party studio to then push that through. Whereas with here, in this case, again, obviously X Defiant did fail that. Although we had games like Cyberpunk 2077 that made it through the certification system, but it does seem like the updates overall go through a more rigorous certification system. Now, other than Sony's, we got to deal with Microsoft obviously here, because Microsoft is the ones that either denied that certification or had issues there. One thing here is Microsoft actually used to charge developers for Xbox updates. I do believe Sony might have done this at some point too, but it seems that this is no longer the case as of 2013. Although again, this was a Xbox 360 platform, so they did drop the policy. I don't know if this applies to current stuff. It seems like for the most part they don't charge for updates anymore, but this did happen at one point. I do believe this is because, again, Xbox does have a very rigorous testing system and certification system, especially back then when you compared it to Sony. They went through a little bit more, although I do feel like both companies are on to par with that now, especially in the current era. Jumping over into Xbox's certification system, so we do actually have a little bit of their certification system here. Again, this is for their console games. The few things they test for here are examples like title stability, meaning are you able to launch the title, are you able to navigate all the areas of the title, the gameplay, the menus, the features, and the DLC. Can you also use an Xbox profile with no previous save? They also do things here like title stability after suspending, so they'll launch the title in and progress some gameplay. At a various point during the title, they'll suspend the title using an Xbox app suspend program, or at least a command here. They'll wait 30 seconds for the title to fully suspend and wait for the suspension to be interrupted. After it's been successfully suspended, they'll return to the title. Again, they need to verify that the title will be able to resume without any issues. They also test for title stability after connected standby, which has to do with the resume standby feature on Xbox. They also test for title quality for submissions. Again, being able to navigate the game, the options, the support for player gameplay functions, save gameplay compatibility. There's a few other things here and so on. The options, language support, navigation, you get the gist here that they do test for all these different things. And they have the top failing cases here and the test cases for that. The top one here being title stability, followed by title integrity, Xbox network and account privileges. Another one here that could be an issue is joinable game sessions and online play, as well as Xbox achievement gamer score, game invitations, and managing player communications. The finals has had some server connectivity issues there, even players launching in the wrong region. So that could be some issues there overall that they had to resubmit. But this is what Microsoft tests for overall, and the reason what it could be overall for their certification system. Although again, it seems like they have either passed certification or they resubmitted for certification. It's just now on Microsoft to re-verify that stuff. So why is it taking so long, and what is the gist there? More than likely the case, Microsoft doesn't work on the weekends for this stuff, so that's why it seems like most title updates do come on a Tuesday or a Thursday. and the latest on a Friday. So it seems like more likely the case they're testing this stuff today and they finally got to it, even though it was submitted on Friday. Embark is in Sweden, and so the time difference there kind of correlated differently. Although going off Dusty's messages, it looks like they submitted it before 2 p.m. But this might be a queue system that has to go through, and there's a lot of updates happening. So Xbox has to test through all of that, and so depending on when they submitted that, there could be some issues there overall. More than likely, Xbox players are going to receive the update tomorrow. At least my best assumption would be that you'll receive it on July 16th, Tuesday. Again, that's when most updates get published, and I do believe that's because people either submit it on a Friday or the publishers submit it on a Friday or a Monday. And because there is no weekend stuff, that it more than likely does come on a Tuesday. Makes the most sense to me there. Again, it has to go through all this rigorous testing and certifications. More than likely they figured out the issue there and they posted it, but they are still waiting on a word from Microsoft. And we even got word here from Oscar over on the Discord, who said they're currently working together with Microsoft on the situation that's blocking the 3.4 release on Xbox. And they don't have an ETA for when it will be released, but as soon as they learn anything, they'll share it with all of you. And again, that was today at 3 a.m., so maybe they heard back over the weekend, or even from Friday, there was some issues there that they heard back from. So if they have to resubmit again for certification, they have to go through all this testing steps again, and more than likely, we won't receive that today, but we will receive it either July 16th, the 17th, or even later. They did go on to say here they're sorry for the super lengthy delay, but there must have been some serious issue there with the patch overall that didn't pass certification, at least that's my guess. We also did have another issue with the patch 3.4 currently. Now this does pertain to PC players, but it does look like there was a new thread created for this, and after the 3.4 update, aim assist will disappear while playing on PC using a gamepad. So currently PC players are having issues with aim assist overall, which also leads me onto this post here. Why not Xbox and PS players back together? So it looks like Xbox players currently can only play with other Xbox players. It seems like people are enjoying that and people do want an input-based matchmaking. Some people here have asked for console-only crossplay options, but I think input-based matchmaking would be a better solution there, as there isn't really any advantage on that, and from my understanding, you could always just plug a keyboard into your console. Although as of currently, it looks like the console platforms don't actually support a mouse and keyboard, but there are ways around that, and so yeah, so there is some stipulations there. But if anything, they probably should copy what XDefiant does and just do an input-based matchmaking or input-based crossplay. I think that's kind of a win-win there without alienating the PC players overall. Also, apparently they changed the font on some of the stuff with the trackers at the end of the game. And yeah, we have some calls here for changing the font back or reverting it back to what it was before the 3.4 update. They also removed a section for downs, which is really weird there. Hoping they bring that stuff back and hoping they also revert the font changes, as I'm really not a fan of this new one. Also wasn't a fan of what Call of Duty did by removing stats from the leaderboards to make certain players feel better about it. I just don't think it helps at all, and yeah. Overall, I should have covered for today's video. If you like, subscribe, and to the next one. Deuces!